This is a direct download from the universe. Play it before midnight. 1. Alignment and awakening. What if this moment wasn't random? What if you didn't just stumble upon this message, but were drawn to it? Not by chance, but by something deeper, quieter, older than memory. Amidst the noise of endless content, you paused here for a reason. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. Something inside you, beneath thoughts, beneath plans, has been stirring. You may have felt it as restlessness, a quiet ache, a sense that life has more to offer than repetition and noise. It might not be loud. It might not even make sense yet, but it's real. It's awakening. You didn't seek this message so much as it found you. Like the way gravity finds you when you leap, or the tide finds the shore without trying. This is not about belief. It's not about information. This is about resonance. Something in you already knows. And now that something is beginning to remember. Imagine life as a river, always flowing forward. For years, you may have floated on its surface, carried by routine, expectations, distractions. But now a ripple, a shift in current, a moment where the water moves differently, and you feel it. You've said yes without knowing the question. Not to an ideology, not to a system, but to yourself, the part of you that's been patiently waiting, watching, listening beneath the noise. This is the beginning. Not the beginning of something to chase or to master, but the beginning of coming home. To yourself, to your truth, to the awareness that has always been there, just under the surface, whispering through dreams, intuitions, longings. Alignment doesn't mean everything is figured out. It means something within is finally in tune, even if it's just one soft note among the noise. And that note changes everything. Many people wait for awakening to arrive like lightning, but often it comes more like breath, subtle, rhythmic, alive. It's not dramatic. It's deeply personal, often invisible on the outside, but unmistakable on the inside. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not late. You're here, and you're listening. And that's everything. Because awakening isn't about reaching higher. It's about returning inward. It's not about escaping life. It's about becoming more alive to it, more responsive, more aware, more willing to feel, to see, to be. This message isn't here to impress you. It's here to reflect you, the version of you that already knows something is changing. This is not the end of your journey. It's the quiet beginning of a deeper one. And all it asks of you is one thing. Don't turn away. Not from this. Not from yourself. Not anymore. 2. The whisper within, the inner spark. There is a voice inside you. It doesn't shout. It doesn't demand. It whispers, softly, steadily. Beneath the noise of the world and the volume of your mind, it waits. It's the quiet knowing that rises when the world feels wrong. The flicker of truth you feel when something deep inside says, "This isn't who I am." We've been trained to listen to louder things. The deadlines, the to-do lists, the opinions of others. We give authority to urgency and mistake volume for truth. But the voice inside doesn't compete. It doesn't push itself forward. It invites. This is your inner spark, your essence before the world told you who to be. You may not always hear it clearly. Some days, it's buried beneath layers of expectation, anxiety, or routine. But it's never gone. It never leaves. In your hardest moments, the ones you thought would break you, it kept glowing. Maybe just an ember, maybe dim, but still alive. It's what made you get up when it felt impossible. It's what kept you dreaming, even when logic said give up. It's what allowed you to whisper, "There has to be more than this." And that whisper was the spark responding, "There is." We often believe that worth must be earned. That will finally be enough when we're successful, admired, accomplished. But the spark within you doesn't care about any of that. It knows you were worthy before you began. You are not here to become someone. You are here to remember who you are. You are not behind. You are not late. You are simply waking up again to the quiet truth that's always been yours. This awakening doesn't look like fireworks or grand announcements. It looks like stillness. It looks like a breath that feels different than the last. It looks like saying no when something dishonors your soul. It looks like a subtle but undeniable return to you. The inner spark doesn't wait for perfection. It doesn't need your life to be tidy or figured out. It speaks through confusion and doubt, through longing and restlessness. It says, this isn't the end. You're still becoming. Keep going. And sometimes just be here. That's enough. If you felt a tug lately, a restlessness, a deep knowing that something is changing, you're not imagining it. You're responding to that whisper. And the very act of listening means something is already shifting. Maybe no one sees the changes yet. Maybe the world hasn't caught up to the inner unfolding taking place within you. But you don't need external confirmation for inner truth. You're already answering the call. You're already aligning. And that is everything. So take a deep breath, not to escape, but to arrive. To feel the place inside you that's always known. To remember the spark that never left. You're not broken. You're becoming. You're not lost. You're learning how to return. You're not late. You're right on time. The whisper within you is not a fantasy. It is your compass. Let it guide you. Let it grow. Let it lead you home. 3. The illusion of readiness, overcoming fear. If you wait until you feel ready, you might wait forever. This is one of the most persistent illusions we inherit. That readiness is a feeling. That certainty will knock on our door before we take the leap. That the fear will vanish once it's finally time. But the truth? That moment rarely comes. There's always more to learn. Always more to heal. Always another reason to delay. We say to ourselves, I'll start when I'm more confident. I'll speak up when I've earned the right. I'll move forward when I'm no longer afraid. But all of that is just fear dressed up as logic. Readiness is not a doorway you wait beside. It's a path you create by walking. And no amount of waiting will build the bridge for you. You weren't ready when you first learned to walk. You didn't wait for a plan. You didn't consult a manual or a mentor. You stood up, wobbled, fell, and stood again. You became ready by moving. And that same wisdom lives in you still. It's the part that knows. The only way forward is through the unknown. Not around it. Not over it. Through. Here's what fear won't tell you. Readiness is a byproduct of action. It is not a prerequisite. You don't become confident then speak. You speak, and confidence rises afterward. You don't wait for the fear to dissolve then leap. You leap and discover wings midair. The mind craves guarantees. It wants the path to be paved, the outcome known, the risk neutralized. But the soul doesn't speak in guarantees. It speaks in nudges, in yearnings, in quiet impulses to begin now. You will feel resistance. That's part of it. You will feel like a fraud. You will feel vulnerable. You will worry what others might think. But that's not a reason to wait. That's a sign you're close to something real. Think of any person you admire. A teacher, a leader, an artist, a changemaker. Do you think they felt entirely prepared when they began? No. They stepped forward afraid and became who they are because of it. Growth is uncomfortable. It has to be. You are stepping out of a version of yourself that fit yesterday but not today. You are expanding beyond the edge of what you've known. This is your walking moment. The moment where you act, not because you're certain but because you're called. Not because the fear is gone, but because your truth speaks louder. You may tremble, you may stumble, but you'll be moving. And in motion, you'll meet momentum. In motion, you'll meet new parts of yourself. Resilient, alive, surprising. In motion, the illusion of readiness fades, and real courage takes its place. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the willingness to move through fear with your heart still open. So don't wait. Don't overplan yourself into paralysis. Don't negotiate with your doubt. Instead, take the next small step. Say yes even with shaking hands. Choose movement over mastery. Choose presence over perfection. Because your becoming doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you decide to show up anyway. 4. Creating versus reacting, claiming power. Most people live life in reaction mode. They wake up and reach for their phone. They scroll. They compare. They absorb headlines. They respond to emails, to expectations, to triggers. They brace for whatever the day demands. And somewhere in the blur of reacting, they forget they are creators. But here's the quiet truth. You are not just a character in life's unfolding story. You are the author. You get to hold the pen. And the universe? It doesn't respond to passivity. It responds to intention. When you pause, even for a moment, and whisper to yourself, I want something different, you send out a frequency. Not loud, not dramatic, but unmistakably real. That single, sincere decision starts a current. A shift in energy. A turning of the tide. Because creating begins long before the outcome. It starts with presence. With choice. With directing your inner compass toward vision rather than reaction. Ask yourself, where is your attention going today? To what's missing? To who hurt you? To how far you have left to go? Or is it focused on what's possible? On what feels meaningful? On what you can build brick by brick, breath by breath? Attention is a currency, and what you feed grows. Doubt grows when it's fed. So does creativity. So does self-worth. So does love. To create is to make space for something new, even if it doesn't exist yet. Is planting a seed in soil you can't fully see. Is trusting the sun will rise, even if today feels overcast. And yes, your mind may resist this. It may whisper, be practical. Don't get your hopes up. Wait until you're more ready, more certain, more secure. But alignment is not something you stumble upon. It is something you create. You build it choice by choice. You return to it breath by breath. Creating your life doesn't mean ignoring the hard things. It means meeting them with intention rather than reflex. It means responding from vision, not just from survival. When you create, you reclaim authorship. You say, I may not control everything, but I choose how I show up. I choose where my energy flows. I choose what I amplify. And from that place, something remarkable happens. The world begins to meet you differently. Opportunities arrive that match your clarity. Relationships deepen around your sincerity. Momentum builds not by force but through alignment. You were not meant to be a background character in your own life. You were born to bring something through you, something only you can. So pause, breathe, and ask, what am I creating today? Even if the answer is small. I'm creating stillness. I'm creating courage. I'm creating one honest conversation. That is enough. Because when you step into creation, you step into power, into possibility, into your role as the architect of a life lived on purpose. 5. The shift is already happening, subtle awakening. You may not see fireworks. You may not feel like your life has been turned upside down. But still, something in you has shifted. There's a deeper silence beneath your noise. Pause before your reaction. A subtle awareness watching your thoughts, where before there was only identification. This is not nothing. This is the beginning of everything. You showed up. Not just physically, but energetically. You're listening differently now. You're sensing something behind the veil of habit, behind the patterns you've carried for years. And maybe you're wondering, is this really change? If nothing looks different on the outside, does it even matter? Yes, it matters. The most profound transformations begin quietly, not with declarations, but with attention, not with radical action, but with small, intentional choices that ripple through everything. You paused instead of reacted. You noticed a loop in your thinking. You softened your tone in a moment when the old you might have shut down or lashed out. You chose to breathe instead of spiral. These aren't small. These are shifts in frequency. And frequency changes form. Slowly, silently, and inevitably. You're no longer running on the same internal autopilot. Even if you stumble, even if you revert sometimes, you're waking up. That slight turn of the inner compass, it's enough to change your entire trajectory over time. Like a ship at sea that shifts its angle by just 1 degree. At first, nothing looks different. But sail far enough and you arrive in a new world. This is the subtle awakening. No loud announcements. No grand spiritual fireworks. Just presence. just honesty, just truth. You don't need to do anything extraordinary to be on the path. You're already on it, because you're here, now, with eyes open and heart softening. Over time, these small internal movements gather force, like drops forming a current, like ripples becoming waves, and waves reshape the shoreline of your life. So if it feels quiet, good. Don't doubt the silence. Don't underestimate the invisible. It is already happening. You are already becoming. Not all growth makes noise. Some of it just makes truth. 6. Stop waiting. Start living, calling the soul forward. Too often, we find ourselves trapped in the illusion that everything must be perfect before we can truly begin. We wait for the right time, the right mood, the ideal conditions, or some external validation to say yes to life. But this waiting is a kind of self-imposed paralysis, a gentle cage built from fear and hesitation. In truth, life doesn't wait for our readiness. Growth, transformation, and awakening begin not in perfect moments but in the messy, imperfect now. Real change happens through action, not through waiting for certainty, but through the courage to step forward even when the path isn't clear. This is the art of presence, showing up fully in each moment, even if it's uncomfortable, uncertain, or incomplete. You don't have to wait to feel deserving. You already are enough, not because you are flawless or successful, but because your soul is already flowing, moving, calling you forward through your raw, real, and beautifully imperfect humanity. Call your soul forward now. Let it lead you beyond hesitation and fear. Feel its gentle insistence beneath your thoughts and worries. The soul doesn't wait for permission. It flows through you in spite of doubts, imperfections, and setbacks. It invites you to step into life as you are, not as you think you should be. What does this look like in daily life? The simple and profound. It's about saying yes to gratitude in this moment, the quiet recognition of what already is, no matter how small. Gratitude grounds you in the present and opens your heart to possibility. It's about listening deeply to your intuition, that subtle inner voice or feeling that nudges you towards something true. That deep yes isn't loud or demanding. It's a whisper that grows stronger the more you honor it. And it's about taking one safe step toward discomfort. Transformation rarely comes as a grand upheaval. More often, it's a gentle, persistent insistence. A slight shift in your daily patterns, a new boundary that honors your needs, a creative spark that breathes life into a stagnant space. These small acts of bravery add up. You don't need to make headlines. You don't need to announce your change to the world. You just need to begin. Start where you are. Move forward, no matter how slow or tentative. Each step is a sacred invitation to claim your life and your soul's purpose. Remember, the soul's call is patient but persistent. It asks only that you show up again and again. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start living your truth now. 7. You're not late. You're right on time. Integration. In today's fast-paced world, where social media feeds endless streams of carefully curated success stories and milestones, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind. Everyone seems to be sprinting ahead, graduating earlier, landing dream jobs faster, or hitting personal goals sooner. These snapshots paint an illusion of a perfect timeline, where life unfolds like a smooth, linear progression. But this cultural narrative is misleading and, more often than not, harmful. It distorts your sense of pacing and makes you question your own journey, creating unnecessary pressure and self-doubt. Here's the truth. Your timeline is uniquely yours. It's neither late nor early, it's exactly right. Every twist, turn, pause, and setback has shaped who you are and prepared you for this very moment. Nothing you have experienced has been wasted. The detours, the delays, the painful lessons, all of them have contributed to your resilience, depth, and clarity. These aren't just obstacles but seeds of wisdom that nurture your growth in ways you might not yet fully see. Think of your life like a river, flowing around rocks and bending through valleys. It doesn't rush to a finish line but carves its own course, sometimes slow and still, sometimes rapid and wild, always moving forward in its own rhythm. The universe unfolds your path on its perfect schedule. It never misses a beat, Often, the very things you thought were setbacks have been your greatest preparation. Wounds you carry have seeded deep wells of compassion and insight. The moments when you felt stuck have built patience and strength. Your timing is not an error but a profound expression of a life being shaped with intention and care, beyond what the eye can see. So if you feel behind, lost, or unsure, breathe deeply and remind yourself, you are exactly where you're meant to be. This moment is your starting point, your fresh page, your new chapter. There is no too late in the journey of becoming. There is only now. Integration is the dance of embracing your past without judgment, holding your present with openness, and moving toward your future with faith. It's not about rushing or forcing, but aligning with your unique rhythm. It's the wisdom of saying yes to your story, all of it, the light and the shadow, the successes and the stumbles. Remember, growth is not a race. It is a spiral. Sometimes you revisit familiar places with new eyes and deeper understanding. The process honors where you've been while opening the door to where you are going. Right here, right now, you are exactly on time. The universe has orchestrated every moment leading to this perfect point. Trust the unfolding. Begin again with grace and courage. Your life story is not behind. It is unfolding just as it should. 8. Final activation, claiming worth. This moment marks your final activation, an awakening deep within where you claim your worth unapologetically. It's the powerful, resonant chord that echoes through your entire being, reminding you that your power, your worth, and your guidance are not things to be earned or proven. They are your birthright. For too long, perhaps, you've been caught in cycles of doubt, waiting for validation or external proof that you deserve to step into your full self. But the truth is, the universe has never asked you to prove yourself. You are already whole, already enough. You are powerful not because of what you've accomplished, but because of who you inherently are. Take a moment now to close your eyes. Let yourself breathe deeply and fully. Inhale the strength of your being. Exhale all hesitation. Visualize your future self, fully realized, radiant, and free. See this version of you standing tall with effortless clarity, steady confidence, and a heart wide open in tender strength. This future self is not some distant dream or fantasy. They exist within you right now, nestled in the quiet spaces of your consciousness, waiting for your invitation. The only barrier is your willingness to align with them, to meet them where they are. Imagine the room where this version of you dwells, not a physical space but a sacred inner sanctuary. Feel the gentle warmth, the openness, the calm confidence that fills this place. Your heart beats steadily here, rooted in truth, free from the chains of judgment or fear. Now, whisper softly, either out loud or in your mind, the words, "I claim this version of me now." This simple declaration carries immense power. It bridges the gap between what is and what can be. It signals to the universe and to your own subconscious mind that you are ready to embody your fullest self in this present moment, no longer waiting for a perfect future or external approval. This is the essence of alignment, bringing your future into your now. It is a magnetic force that draws time itself to bend and work in your favor. By claiming your worth, you create a ripple effect that influences your thoughts, your choices, your words, and the energy you bring into every interaction. Carry this feeling with you throughout your day. Let it guide your actions. When challenges arise, remember this moment of power and worthiness. When decisions feel uncertain, return to the clarity and confidence you invoked. Let your future self cheer you on as you catch up to who you truly are right here, right now. This is your activation, your reclaiming, your sacred alignment with your highest potential. It is the culmination of your journey, yet also the beginning of a new way of being. Fully empowered, deeply connected, and unapologetically you.